Great, the recording has started. So welcome everybody to this week's Enabling Tech in Action speaker series. This week we are joined by our own subject matter expert, Harold Sloves. He's going to be doing a session on enabling technology and inclusion. Most of you have met Harold already through previous speaker series, and I know he's a SME for several of you. Before I turn it over to Harold, I just also want to welcome Kyle Corbin from Safe and Home. Following Harold's presentation, Kyle will be doing the vendor spotlight for Safe and Home. So wanted to make sure you stick around for that. Kyle, we aim for 45 minutes after the hour, but be prepared to go on a little bit early if things wrap up. All right, Harold, it's all yours.
Thank you. And it's good to see many of you whom I know. And let's see, I'm going to once again share. We getting anything? Yep.
We can see it.
Okay. Looks good. Okay. Yep. Okay. So this morning I'm going to be talking about the role of enabling technology outside of where people live. I have an old saying that enabling technology is not just for where people live, but where people live life. And in my opinion, there's going to be exponential growth in the role of enabling technology in the community and where people work. That's an opinion. So we talk about mobile technology, and let's see, this is not letting me scroll. Hang on. One second, please. Okay. So everybody's getting this? Yeah? Okay. So mobile technologies, we can also call them portable. When state systems providers begin this journey toward a technology-first framework, without exception, people focus on where people live. There's lots of reasons for that. It's where it's rooted at its origins. Even when we talk about seniors, I think many of us recall the old granny cam. So there's a long, long history of enabling technology at home. It's also, frankly, the most often the most efficient way to do it, because if people are living together, multiple people can enjoy the freedom that it gives them. But it's not everything. It's not everything. Some common examples of mobile technology are wearables, which is again, in my opinion, a major growth area. That can include things like bracelets that can anticipate seizure activity. Of course, an Apple Watch, that's a wearable. To talk about, that can capture health metrics. And in fact, there are at least one that I'm aware of, portable medication dispenser systems. 100 years ago, when I was running a supported employment program, there was a fellow with a severe seizure disorder, but who was just so determined to work. So he ended up working at Home Depot, but he had to take his meds when he was working. And so the Home Depot management decided they would page him every day he worked to take his medication. So back in the day, that was the low-tech solution. Today we have other ones. So when I was leading the effort in Tennessee way back when, one of the greatest challenges I felt that we faced was enabling people to travel more independently. And I think many of you know, who are providers, some of the challenges, especially with kind of workforce issues you face. Having people dependent on someone to get them somewhere is not good for anybody. You're creating a dependency, and of course, It's all contingent on having available staff to take somebody somewhere. So ultimately, I came to the conclusion, or I understood, I'm a slow learner, that the ability to get around is so foundational to a person's freedom. So, we have everyday conveniences. We have GPS on our phones and cars and that kind of thing. What about the people that we are talking about today, people with cognitive disabilities? So one of the phrases that I had hoped would become obsolete one day is day services. Is day services. I mean, we don't talk about ourselves that way, but really, the power of enabling technology is about inclusion and being a part of a community, part of a workforce, devoid of dependence on other people. So one of the cool things we did it was a collaboration. And let me just take one step back. Throughout this presentation, I'll be referencing some of the vendors who are participating in our project, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. So we collaborated with, this is actually not correct, but we collaborated, it was in Chattanooga actually, with the local provider, with the local transportation authority, and with AbleLink, who has a Wayfinder application, and it literally downloads a city's transit route and can then customize the person's route to work, so they can ultimately travel more independently. So with that faux pas, I'm going to show you what we did in Chattanooga. This was, unfortunately, right before COVID. I mean, literally right before COVID hit. And as many of you know, those of you who have some interaction with public transportation, those public transportation systems became ghost towns, really. So, but this has been reignited since then. Okay, here we go. Let me know if it's working on your end.
I don't think we have any sound, Harold.
Okay.
Maybe just turn it up, maybe, because I hear something.
All right, I'm gonna start all over. Sorry, bear with me. Okay.
No, still no sound.
No.
Nothing?
It's
All
there,
right.
but it's very muffled and muted, not really discernible.
Okay. All right, just a minute. All right, I'm gonna give it one more try, guys. But I did set up subtitles, I believe.
Here for the number 4 bus. Our main focus was going to be safety. We used the AbleLink technology.
Possible. That I think there's dignity in takes that they did employment. And all we're doing is allowing people to be the type of parameters for. We've been able to remove those, and you're changing the county and Chattanooga. Thank you. We're walking this together.
Okay, I'm back. Was the audible was it terrible, the sound?
Yeah, it didn't work. Brad posted the video link in chat, and we'll send it out as a follow-up link as well.
Oh, thank you, Brad. I'm sorry about that, guys, and I have actually additional videos to share. One thing I would like to emphasize, and it's something we really emphasized in I was doing the work in Tennessee, and that is the great potential of the interplay between technology and work. One of the things we realize is it's just as hard to find a competent job coach as any position in our field. And that really limits provider capacity, and it also limits opportunity. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but so please bear with me. I'm sorry about the quality of the audio. This particular video is about how people are using technology at work. It's kind of dated because this is work at an assembly environment, but most importantly is that you'll see how these task prompts can be used in lieu of a job coach, and how it's really customized for the person working. So I'm going to make this as loud as I can.
We're inviting you to be part of a nationwide movement to help people with intellectual disabilities obtain meaningful employment. Introducing Employment Pathfinder.
Harold, it started fine, and then it went away.
It went away.
You got about two sentences crystal clear, and then it garbled again. I could try to.
No, that's all right. I don't want everybody to agonize over this. Let me move ahead a little bit. We're going to try one more, and then we're going to call it a day. I do want to, let's try this one. Okay, this is actually the one I had hoped you would see. Hold on. We're going to try.
Anthony's employment. With the assistance of technology, Anthony has been able to provide the benefits of employment as a friend of the local economy. I never felt alone to start again.
Okay, so let me come back live here just for a moment. And just a couple of points I'd like to make. First of all, the one that I aborted, the earlier one, that was born from the impact of COVID. I was also involved with looking at employment in our state. And not only were people losing jobs, but nobody was looking for a job. So we began looking at pre-employment software to help people figure out where they wanted to at least begin to look without driving around. So it really was a very direct response to the pandemic. Secondly, with respect to this particular, and did you get sound this time? No? Great. Well, if you're interested, I'm sure Paul will be happy to share this deck with you. But how many of us use YouTube to learn how to do something? This is called, well, me too. And some pretty basic things too. But this is based on the fancy term video modeling, which is actually evidence-based. So again, it's, sometimes we make things more complicated than they really are. But video modeling has a lot of research behind it, and it's a very, very successful tool to help people with or without cognitive disabilities learn how to do stuff. So now, and I do want to emphasize both Creatability and AbleLink are part of our project here in Arkansas. So as we go forward, I try to highlight vendors who are participating with us. Okay. So with respect to Creatability, they actually participated in a federal grant to study study outcomes and attitudes related to what they called electronic job coaches. I call typically remote job coaches. It was really to try to collect data. I will tell you candidly, I don't think there's enough research in the work that we're doing in the enabling technology field. So I was pretty excited to see this kind of research, particularly when we take a look at the integration of technology to support people in the workplace. The bottom line is that people with intellectual disabilities prefer remote coaching to having a job coach with them. And also, some of us who go far back enough remember those laminated binders that people had to sort of thumb through to figure out what to do next. This also created an opportunity to reduce the amount of time a job coach was on site. That's a win-win, and it's a win for providers that they can utilize job coaches to support other people and more people. It's a capacity issue as well. Job coaches liked it because it was, easier and more consistent for training purposes. And it allowed them to do more stuff. And of course, the people who were using it really were far more happy to be using technology rather than having a job coach with them. And there's further data that shows that the employer likes it better as well. Okay. Another of our vendors is VoiceIt. Some of you, I'm sure, are familiar with it. We brought VoiceIt in early in Tennessee. It really was a remarkable technology and has it's really evolved greatly since. But just the look of joy on people's faces who have atypical speech, difficult to understand, when they, through machine learning, when they could hear what they were trying to communicate come through clearly to another person, it was a joyful moment. Simple stuff like ordering food, to be able to do so and be understood was a big deal. Sometimes the small things matter far more than we realize. So I'm sorry, we're going to suffer through one last video, which chances are won't work. I'll put the closed captions on. And,
Harold, before you started, could you unshare? And then when you share back in, there's a button at the bottom about sharing audio that may put the audio through.
Okay, where am I looking, Paul?
Just go back to share it again and choose choose that presentation. And there should be a checkbox at the bottom about sharing audio. If you don't see it, that's fine. You can go forward.
Okay. Okay, now where is this? Oh, geez. Okay, hold on. I can't get to it that way. Oh, that's clicked. I see what it is clicked. I see what you're talking about.
Cool. Give it a try. Thanks, Kyle, for that suggestion.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Okay. Bear with me. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about the technology glitches. Voice It since that time has really gone through some significant enhancements, particularly on the learning side, and it's become a much more expedited process for the software to understand the articulation of people and then express it in a way that other people can readily understand. And as you can imagine, and I was glad that they had some emphasis on where people work. If you are reliant on somebody else to constantly explain what you're saying, can you imagine how that feels? So it's not simply having a job coach, but having somebody having to translate what you're saying. And this is a way to overcome that. And it's pretty cool stuff. So anyway, my apologies for whatever technology deficiencies I have. If you're interested in this, I'm pretty sure Paul would be happy to share that electronically. At this point, I am done unless you have questions pertaining to what you didn't hear. That was a joke, by the way. All good? All right. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for accommodating the lack of sound in the videos. Again, if there's something that interests you, I'm sure that either Paul or the vendors that you might be interested in will be happy to talk with you. That's the simplest way. Okay.
I'll throw out a question. So I'm getting feedback here. Are you maybe turn your speaker down?
Sure. Hang on. I turned it up because of the problems we were having.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Let me try. I was still hearing a little bit of echo. Quick question.
Hang on. I got one more solution. Just bear with me. Is it better?
Let's see. I still hear the echo, but I'll get my question out. Is there anything unique about assessing somebody in the community versus in their residence in terms of how you expose their day-to-day activities in the communities?
Yes, because again, part of the assessment is to figure out how whichever of these technologies can support the person. Now, some of them are applicable to both home and let's say a work environment. So for example, the video modeling, that's something that could be used at home to help somebody learn how to cook. So there is some other application of some of these technologies. Certainly, let's talk about Voice It. And we had an emphasis on where people work or going out to dinner, that kind of thing. But if you have smart devices like Alexa, using Voice It can help you access Alexa. Alexa will understand, and to do those tasks, that the person would like to have, which is really a big deal if you think about it. If somebody has some physical limitations, physical disabilities, cannot control their environment independently and are reliant on other kinds of technologies such as door openers or thermostats and that kind of thing, working through Alexa to do that stuff, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. So your point's very well taken. There is applicability for some of these to be used both at home and work. And I appreciate the question. Again, think about somebody who really can't even turn their TV on. As an example, they can use Alexa, and if they have articulation issues, they can use Voice It to access Alexa or Echo or whichever system they're using. Great question. Thank you.
Any other questions for Harold? All right.
All good.
Great.
All right. Bye, folks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harold. I'll figure out the best way to post that video so that it makes sense with the technology glitches. Certainly, I'll send out the links to the videos that Harold presented so you can watch them offline on your own. And I'll figure out the best way to post that to our YouTube channel where maybe editing out the glitches. We'll see. Okay, so Kyle, you are on the first tee here, and I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about Safe and Home. Welcome, and time is yours.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully I don't have the same technology glitches and everything goes smoothly. We'll keep the fingers crossed and see what happens, I guess. Going to share my screen as well. Interesting. All right, I think I'm seeing what the problem was with Harold's there. So let's try. So I think I'm going to run into the same problem unless I do this.
You put your video on a tab in the same window,
Yeah.
that unlocks it.
Huh. It doesn't want me to do it through a tab. It's interesting. I've never had problems with Google Present before.
I feel like this is the first day that we've had this problem as well. Lucky you, Kyle.
Right, right. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have the same. I think I'm gonna have the same audio problems because it will not let me share via tab. Nothing's coming up. And if I go to window, it's telling me that audio won't share instead, that it has to be done through the tab. So let me try, since we have a little bit of time, right?
Yep.
Let me try one more thing.
Your
and
tea
see-
time is not until 10:45, so
I'll try not to waste it. Yeah, I'll try not to waste everybody's time. But let's see if I can do this. Just bear with me another 30 seconds. I think I will have a solution.
While Kyle's
All right.
working. You good, Kyle?
Yep, I think so. All right. So what I'll do is I should be able to swap that over. So I put the video into a different format and hopefully it'll let me swap it over when it's time. So I will start this.
And Kyle, I'm gonna stop the recording and then restart it so that I capture your presentation separately, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with the first half of the presentation, the sharing. So at least I'll be able to carve out your portion and share it out with everybody.
Okay.
So just a real quick stop and a restart, so I got a fresh file.
That sounds good.